What's going on, guys? It's J-Ho bringing you a brand new video, and today was a really big day for Destiny 2 because instead of their originally scheduled live stream for Curse of Osiris, they put out a really big important blog post for the state of Destiny 2 listing all the changes that they plan to implement in the near and distant future for Destiny 2. So this was a really important one for the state of Destiny 2 just because there's a lot of backlash and criticism going on for Destiny in the recent weeks and months ever since the game launched. But at the end of the day, all of us that want to give suggestions and criticisms for how to make the game better for the future all want this game to succeed. If you've been there since the beginning and you really like Destiny at its core and you truly love the game, then all of this is because we want to see it succeed because we really care about Destiny and where it's headed. But anyways, there's a lot of different things that they went through in the blog post, so let's get into it and I'll give you guys some of my thoughts on some of the major ones. So first off, we got new systems and rewards, or the optional pursuits for the more engaged players. So most of these that they listed are coming in next week's update with the DLC, as well as the next week after that with more updates on December 12th. So first up, we got a new weapon tier called Masterworks. So basically this adds a stat tracker feature to your legendary weapons, as well as an extra random rerollable stat bonus to your weapons as well. So this isn't exactly what everyone wanted, which was random rolls on weapons. However, it is definitely a step in the right direction. It gives us a little bit more customization on our weapons. So if you want like extra range on your hand cannon, or you want more stability on your auto rifle or something like that, then you can definitely utilize this new Masterworks feature and alter some of your favorite legendary weapons. They're also changing how vendors work in Destiny 2 as well, so it's reverting similar to what it was in Destiny 1. Not completely the same as what it was, but it's kind of a mix of what it was in Destiny 1 and what it was now. So you can still turn in tokens, I believe, and get random stuff out of your engrams or packages. However, you can also purchase items using your tokens as well as legendary shards. So they're pretty much making legendary shards a big currency now, because a lot of people had a big surplus of it and there was very few ways to spend it. So now there's a lot of ways that you can utilize all the legendary shards that you acquire. And then they're also adding ornaments into the mix as well for your armor pieces. And there's going to be a bunch of different ornaments tied to a bunch of different factions as well as vendors. And in order to acquire some of these ornaments, you're going to complete some challenges. And so after you obtain the ornament, after completing these challenges, you can just apply them to the base armor that you get from those respective vendors. So I think this one is pretty good overall. Definitely adding those challenges in there gives people an incentive to work towards some of these ornaments for the specific pieces that they want. So that's really good. For this example, you can see on the screen, for this Iron Banner ornament, all you have to do is win 25 matches, and then once you do that, you can unlock it, and then you can get it and apply it to that specific armor piece for your character. And then they also added some new stuff to Xur as well, and I really like these changes to Xur specifically. So the first one is Faded Engram is being added to Xur. So every week when Xur comes, besides being able to buy whatever exotic offerings he has for that weekend, you're going to be able to purchase a Faded Engram for legendary shards, and this will give you an exotic that you don't have already in your collection. So this is really good. You can acquire one of these every week that Xur comes. It does cost a lot. It seems like it says 97 shards for one of these engrams, so it's pretty expensive if you don't have a lot of legendary shards. But a lot of people are going to have a lot of shards, especially at the beginning once all these updates come out. And then on top of that, they're bringing back 3 of coins into the game as well, so you can purchase that from Xur also. And 3 of coins are a little bit more simpler to use. It boosts your exotic drop chances for 4 hours whenever you use one. So you don't have to reapply it before an encounter or a boss fight like you used to do in Destiny 1. It's a lot simpler. It's just on a timer now. Similar to that Fireteam XP boost that you can purchase from Tess Everest or Eververse. And then moving on to the next point, we got better incentives for completing challenging prestige activities. And they currently haven't listed anything specific for that, but they're still working on it and targeting it for a January update. So I'm really interested to see what they're going to do for that. Moving on to the next one, we got better rewards and replay value for strikes, adventures, and lost sectors. So they're bringing back the heroic strike playlist with more generous rewards as well. And then they also haven't talked about rewards for adventures and lost sectors, but it's on their radar and they're still looking into that as well. But in terms of that, I think strike specific loot and even specific loot for adventures and lost sectors can be something that will give people an incentive to play those again and replay them until you get some of these specific items. So that's a really good thing they should look into. Moving on to Crucible, we got private matches for Crucible. They're still targeting early 2018. I'm guessing it's going to be sometime in the spring around the release of the second expansion or DLC, which is going to come out in the springtime as well. So I'm guessing that's when private matches are going to come into the game. And then they're also looking into ranked PvP as well. That's at the top of their priority list now, and that's really good. I think ranked PvP is something that's really going to benefit the game a lot, because PvE content only goes so far usually. You can't really make PvE content super replayable compared to PvP content. A lot of multiplayer games really rely on a PvP content to sustain players, especially during the periods of time where there's no new PvE content. So after people complete majority of the PvE content and there's not that much to replay in terms of PvE, you usually gravitate toward the PvP if you still want to play the game, and that's what sustains the game over the periods of time until we have to wait for another release of another expansion or something like that. And I think ranked PvP can definitely help Destiny and sustain it a lot more, just because there's a lot of games out there like Overwatch that have a really good ranked system in terms of competitive multiplayer, and it's really helping sustain the game over long periods of time, especially when there's no new content or new updates coming. So I think ranked PvP is definitely a good thing, and I think they should look into making something involving a ranking system for Crucible. Hopefully we learn more about that in the near future. And then we got continued improvements to Iron Banner and faction rallies, including the uniqueness of the reward. So they're continuing to look into that. They're doing some changes, obviously. In the December update, they're adding the ornaments and all that stuff that they're applying to pretty much all the vendors, but hopefully they add more stuff in terms of these special events like Iron Banner and faction rallies, because so far it's been a little bit lackluster in Season 1 of Destiny 2. So hopefully in the future seasons they make these events a little bit more exciting and add a little bit more incentive to get people to come back during these special event activities. And then lastly, they're still looking into making the mod system a little bit more impactful and more interesting, so I'm really excited to see what they do with that. And there's still a lot of stuff that they're currently working on, and hopefully they discuss with us about it and finish it within the near future. But that's about it for this video. Thank you guys for watching. As always, overall I think it's pretty good. We're definitely headed in the right direction. I was expecting a little bit more probably from the blog overall, but I think they're definitely taking a step in the right direction, especially with trying to be more engaged with the community. So hopefully we see more frequent communication between Bungie and the community or the player base, because we all want to see the game succeed. Everyone that loves to play Destiny, we want to see it get better in the future, and we want to see it to be a game that everyone wants to play, that can sustain itself over these long periods of time. But anyways, that's about it once again. Thank you guys for watching as always, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace!